I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Charlotte. Mark the Man Dan Tuma and Richie Joplin have the front row. Ryan Douglas, Stephen Lindner on the second row. Paulo Anacito, Michael Whiting have the third row. Kevin Bruner, Gil Guac on the fourth row. John Talley and Robbie McCracken rounding out the top 10. Derek Schilling starting in 11th with next to DJ the Iceman Kenner in 12th. Kevin Hayes in 13th, Gerald Thanos Poole in 14th, Ryan Warp in 15th, Jim Mott in 16th, Tim St. Jean in 17th, Robert Eggert in 18th, Bob Baker in 19th, John Shermott starts in 20th, Warren Moore, Dean Webb, Ron Holifield, Jeff Oakes, and Mike Burgess round out the 25 car field here tonight. Dean Webb is ready to send it, and it's great to have you back, Dean. Folks, don't forget, it is a fun night. If you're on American Truck Sim, make sure you jump on immediately after the race. The Unicorn will be leading the convoy. You know things are going to get chaotic and exciting in that one. As we mentioned, a lot of YouTube shorts come out every day. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. We've got race shorts, trucking shorts, and shorts from every game we've ever played on the channel. And likely more to come after the convoy. Here we go. The pace car is in. Dan Tuma in control. Here they come. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away in Charlotte. It is sunny out as, whoa, Richie comes down as Mark comes up. That got a little spicy. The top two trying to pull away, still on a side-by-side back in the pack. Back look like a few guys trying to go 3 wide. Ryan Douglas, one of the new drivers this season, currently sitting in third. Paulo Anacito, Michael Whiting also in the field. Great to have Whiting out here. It is awesome to see so many members, long-time members of a community coming out. Now we mentioned it is sunny in Charlotte. Track temperature currently 104 degrees. I can tell you one driver that really loves that is Richie Joplin. Loves it when the track is hot and slick, and we've had a few problems behind. No caution yet. Kevin Bruner and Gil Guac both had off tracks a moment ago. We'll take a look here in just a second and wait and see if the caution comes out. And it does not look like it will. Kevin Bruner, Gil Guac involved. Let's see what happened. There's Bruner up on the high side. Oh, little bump out of 4. Guac comes up. Bruner was already a bit loose coming off that bump. We'll slow this down to 1/4 speed and let you guys see. Bruner, you heard him mention it in pre-race, some of the bumps out here, and there you see, hits the bump. The car does get a little light. And then Guac just pushes up, gets into him, both of them through the infield, and both recovered quickly. Richie Joplin has taken the lead from Mark Dantuma. Dantuma holds on to second. Ryan Douglas in third. Paulo now in fourth. Michael Whiting in fifth. Looking back through the field, a couple of guys struggled in qualifying but are making up ground now. Tim St. Jean up 4 spots into 13th. Ryan Ward just ahead in 12th, up 3 spots. Bob Baker started in 19th, has already made his way up to 15th. Warren Moore up 4 spots into 17th. Mike Burgess up 7 spots into 18th. Jeff Oakes up 5 spots into 19th. And Ron Holyfield up 3 spots into 20th. A lot of drivers on the attack here early. That's worth noting, 70 laps. Looking at about 20 to 22 laps on a tank of fuel. I'm sure a couple of drivers will be able to extend that another lap or two. But looking at potentially a 3-stop race. Normally at this point we'd say, but cautions could change things. However, as you know with home motorsports, the cleanest league on iRacing, you just never know. It's more than once we have seen entire races and entire seasons go caution-free. Another one of the new drivers in the field, Robbie McCracken, up 3 spots into 7th. Eric Schilling on the attack, up 3 spots now into 8th. Usually Schilling has a fan club cheering him on. In the comments, no fan club yet. Hey, good evening, Panda. And thank you so much in our first caution of the night. Our first caution of the night at lap 10. Let's take a look. I'm not 100% sure what the cause was. Let's take a look at Warren Moore there in the yellow and blue 47. As they come through the quad oval on the front stretch. Oh! Warren gets a little bit of a tap and goes nose first into the outside wall. Richie Joplin stays out. Everybody else is coming in. As I mentioned earlier, and I may have jinxed them, we don't see cautions often in home motorsports. The other thing we don't see is fast repairs, meaning Warren Moore is going to have to sit. Oh, Warren's engine is smoking. He's going to be stuck on pit road for a while. Mark Dantuma wins the race off pit road, but Richie Joplin weirdly did not come in. But it does look like a lot of the field took fuel only. They're saving those tires for later in the race. Richie's strategy may work. Mark Dantuma, Paulo Aniceto, DJ Kenner took fuel only. Kenner jumps to 4th place. And there's Derek Schilling's cheering section. Hey, good evening, Angie. How are you? Gerald Poole, Jim Mott also took fuel only, picking up several spots. Derek Schilling must have had a little bit of damage, as well as Gil Guac and John Talley, all three on pit road for an extended period of time. Richie Joplin in control of the restart. Mark D'Antuma right beside him. Paulo Aniceto, Ryan Douglas on the second row. Michael Whiting, Robbie McCracken on the third row. Jim Mott, Stephen Lindner on the fourth row. Kevin Hayes, Tim St. Jean round out the top 10. Angie, my pleasure. I got kind of... last few weeks, all the weird schedules over the last couple of weeks, I kind of got a little out of whack this week trying to get back to it. Glad to be back broadcasting. All right, here we go. Pace car is in. And the green flag flies again at Charlotte, and Richie Joplin away like a bullet. Everybody heads off into 1 and 2. Remember, some of this field did just get tires, some did not. Michael Whiting, currently the highest running car on fresh tires. Once they get these things up to speed, I expect Whiting will be charging to the front. Dean Webb is on pit road along with Robert Eggert. Gil Guac also coming in. And it looks like Bob Baker out of the race early after being caught up in that incident. Looks like all three of these drivers that came in have hit their pit stalls. Likely not a penalty. This has to be a strategy move by the three of them. Michael Whiting on those fresh Goodyears, now up into third. Robbie McCracken now up into fifth and battling past Mark D'Antuma. Whoa, D'Antuma on old tires losing some ground through 1 and 2. A few close calls there. Dean Webb, Gil Guac, both out. We've got a spin on the backstretch. Caution is back out. And looks like Ron Holyfield involved. Let's see if we can see what happened. Coming down the back straightaway. Looked like Tim St. Jean gets a tap. Tim was coming down, it looked like, got into Ryan Warp's nose. Let's take a look down from the blimp. Tim St. Jean in the gold car. Ryan Warp just behind. Ryan, a big run out of turn 2. Oh, Ryan comes up, just gets into Tim. Tim goes for a bit of a spin, and Holyfield gets a piece of it. He ends up in the infield. He might have gotten the worst of it. Let's take a closer look at what happened with Ron. Down the back straightaway. Remember, everybody involved up ahead. He gets off clean, but checks up, and Thanos just gets his bumper. Quite a few drivers came back into pit road this time, including Richie Joplin, Ron Holyfield, Kevin Hayes, John Shermott, Gerald Poole, Kevin Bruner, Derek Schilling. Robert Eggert is back in. John Talley came in. Looking to see about everybody from about 10th on back. Now, Tim St. Jean stayed out, so everybody from Kevin Bruner, everybody from Kevin Hayes on back was on pit road this time. Mike Burgess is ducking back in, as is Tim St. Jean. Everybody stacks back up for the restart, and folks, we may not get another caution tonight. As we mentioned, Home Motorsports, the cleanest league on iRacing, very rarely has cautions. So we've had entire seasons with only 1 or 2 cautions, so we don't get a chance to crank up the volume very often, but tonight we definitely get a chance. So when the green flag drops, I'm going to stop talking and let you guys crank it up. Listen to all the horsepower coming out of these 25 cars. All right, here they come, out of turn 4. Pace car dives to pit road. Get ready to get loud. Into the restart zone, the green flag flies. Crank it up, y'all. And we have had a few problems since the restart. Looked like DJ Kenner smacked the wall in a big way. Also appears Robert Eggert and Gil Guac have had problems. Back behind, no caution yet. Let's take a quick look. There's the Iceman in the purple 32 car off into turn 3. Oh, we had a car coming up. And a big stack up on the front straightaway. Gerald Poole drove through it. Gil Guac, Tim St. Jean smacked the heck out of the wall. Squawk, as he's checking up, gets a big hit. Wow. And let's take a look at one more part of this one. Looking down at the 9 car of Gerald Poole as the Chaos pops off ahead out of turn 4, and you see the whole field checking up. Thanos just barely skates through but picks up a lot of ground. Robbie McCracken still has the lead, but Jeff Oakes has caught up to him. Oakes looks to the bottom, trying to make the move. It's a drag race down the back straightaway. Oakes has not been able to complete it, but inching closer and closer. Stephen Lindner in 4th, Ryan Warp in 5th. Richie Joplin looks underneath Warp for the position, with Whiting right behind. Derek Schilling has moved back into the top 10 and is closing the gap on the cars ahead. Mark Dantuma now in 9th. He is also closing back in on the lead back. Did see quite a bit of the field get separated due to that incident on the front straightaway, as Jeff Oakes has taken the lead. Robbie McCracken now in 2nd. Ryan Douglas trying to hold on to 3rd, but has Richie, the defending champ, underneath. Oh, and Steve Lindner had a big run through 3 and 4 to check up. The top 9 at the moment fairly close, as Dantuma on the move, Schilling getting closer, and now bringing Paulo Inesito with him. Jeff Oakes has the lead, but Drifty Richie is gaining. Remember, Richie came in under that last caution at lap 18 to get tires. A lot of this field picked him up on the first caution at lap 11. The fresh tires starting to make their way toward the front, including Michael Whiting, Mark Dantuma, Kevin Hayes, Derek Schilling on fresh tires, as well as Jim Mott. I believe Kevin Bruner also has fresh tires on that car. And caution is back out. That is a surprise. Paulo Inesito and Kevin Hayes both involved. and Kevin both had to tow it to pit road. Let's take a gander. Paulo on the bottom, Kevin up top. As they come out of turn 4, Paulo pushes up, Kevin comes down. All good through the front stretch. And then Kevin bounces off the wall, collects Paulo, and both of them end up in the wall. Ouch. Jeff Oaks currently has the lead, and folks, an impressive move by Jeff. He started in 24th place and is already up front as the field is coming in. Dean Webb staying out to get himself the lucky dog. He'll be back on the lead lap. I know a few of these guys have raced with Dean Webb in the past, and Dean is a great addition to Home Motorsports. But I can promise you some of these drivers have no idea what's coming once Dean is back on the lead lap. And just double checking, this is Dean Webb's first race with Home Motorsports. Michael Whiting came off pit road, did fuel only on that stop. Jim Mott, fuel only as well. Moving Whiting into first, Mott into fourth. It's like most of the rest of the field took tires. A few stayed on pit road like Ron Holyfield getting repairs. Remember, we mentioned it earlier, Home Motorsports does not have fast repairs. Tim St. Jean is coming back out, as well as Thanos. Dean Webb back out on track, has completed a pit stop, and looks like Dean is still a lap or two down at the moment. Michael Whiting in control on the bottom. Jeff Oaks up on the high side. Pace car dives to pit road. Here they come. And the green flag is back in the air at Charlotte. And looks like we had a problem on the restart. Ryan Douglas, as I believe who that is, up on the high side, just did not get going. No, I am sorry, that is Jim Mott, who just did not get going on that restart, which Jeff Oaks has now reclaimed the lead. Richie Joplin back up into second. Dan Tuma back to third. Michael Whiting has slipped back into fourth. Remember, Michael Whiting did fuel only on that stop. Hey, good evening, Frank. How you been? Oh, a lot of action mid-pack. Kevin Bruner fighting with Ryan Warp at the moment. A lot of these cars that were involved in earlier incidents, whoa! Trying to fight their way back toward the front. Gerald Poole clearing back up into 13th. Mike Burgess not on the lead lap in that group. Looked like coming through 3 and 4. That car still a little bit off. He was a wee bit out of shape. Richie Joplin now out front by half a second over Jeff Oakes, Dan Tuma in third, Robbie McCracken in fourth, and look who is snaking his way to the front. We have seen Derek Schilling do the come from behind. In fact, last year as part of our 2024 MS fundraiser, Derek Schilling did the same thing Mark Dantuma did in another league. Did the From the Back Challenge, raising money for our MS Society fundraiser. And this year, we've got 2 fundraisers, one for the MS Society, one for the American Cancer Society. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming soon. Frank, I have to agree, Navy Joe Coffee is life. It definitely brings me to life every morning. Derek Schilling now looking under Robbie McCracken for 4th place. Couldn't get the run that time. Ryan Douglas closing in. John Talley, another one of the rookies this season, back in 10th, trying to fight his way back toward the front. Michael Whiting, who took tires only, has dropped back to 11th. Same problem with Jim Mott. Those old tires has drifted back to 14th. But remember, they still have one more stop to go. Everybody will be within their fuel window in about 4 laps. Some of these drivers will have a fresh set of tires to put on. And don't forget, folks, right after the race, the Unicorn will be leading the convoy. You guys definitely need to tune in, if even for just a few moments, to see the trucking chaos. How many of you knew an 18-wheeler can fly? I promise you that the Unicorn or Jeremy will get one airborne tonight. A lot of battling going. Oh, Schilling is in the wall. Just a little bubble, a little kiss, but he lost some momentum. Ryan Douglas underneath takes a position. And now Steven Lindner trying to take one. Kevin Bruner, who was caught up in one of the early incidents, went through the grass. Has caught back up. He is currently in 8th place. Ryan Warp still in the attack, back in 9th. John Talley in 10th, Michael Whiting in 11th, Thanos in 12th. Ron Holt make that 11th for Thanos as he continues marching. Ron Holyfield, Ron still fighting back. Ron now up 11 spots into 12th place. Michael Whiting in 13th, Jim Mott in 14th, Tim St. Jean after that rough incident back in 15th. That car definitely not up to speed. Dean Webb back in 16th, not back on the lead lap yet. And Jim Mott has brought it to pit road. Richie Joplin has the lead, but for how much longer? Jeff Oakes is there, Dan Tuma just behind. Derek Schilling now trying to fight his way back toward the front. Ryan Douglas making him work for it, and Kevin Bruner lurking as we had 20 laps to go and everybody is within their fuel window. And good evening to Blakey Pooh Snickerdoodle Boo Boo. Buddy, I can't wait to see you back on track. Ryan Warp has just got himself back on the lead lap. He had already completed his pit stop. Pit stops are underway. Everybody within the fuel window. Jeff Oakes still holds on to the lead. Richie right behind. Richie's coming in. Robbie McCracken also coming to pit road. A lot of these guys waiting till the last possible second so they have the freshest tires for the longest. Gerald Poole also on pit road. Kevin Bruner just completed his stop, as did Michael Whiting. And the leader is in. Jeff Oakes heads in. Mark Dantuma takes the lead for the first time tonight. Stephen Lindner in second. Derek Schilling and Ryan Douglas still battling it out now for third. Whoa! Both of them got a little out of shape coming out of 2. Great save by both drivers. Stephen Lindner and John Talley have both come to pit road. Derek Schilling now into second. Ryan Douglas in third. Remember, they still have to come in. And Mark Dantuma gives up the lead. He is on pit road. Derek Schilling stays out, assumes the lead. Schilling playing the long game here early in the season, picking up some bonus points before going to pit road. Tim St. Jean will now, I believe, be in second. Likely trying to pick up some bonus points here as well. Remember, Tim has been a contender the last couple of seasons. Derek Schilling still has not made his stop as Richie Joplin comes by to unlap himself. Now Derek will come in. He will have the freshest tires, along with Dean Webb also coming in. Tim St. Jean has still not completed his final stop. And here he comes, Tim St. Jean heads to pit road. Next time by, Richie Joplin may reassume the lead. But it ain't gonna be easy. Jeff Oakes, 0.3 of a second behind. Ryan Warp, 1.5 seconds back and gaining. Hey, thanks, Frank. Mark Dantuma back in fourth, also gaining ground. Robbie McCracken in fifth. Kevin Bruner back in sixth. Michael Whiting in seventh. Stephen Lindner in eighth. Ryan Douglas in ninth. John Talley in 10th. Derek Schilling back to 11th. Gerald Poole in 12th. Ron Holyfield in 13th. Jim Mott in 14th. Tim St. Jean running in 15th. Dean Webb in 16th. Mike Burgess is on track in 17th. DJ in 18th. John Shermott still on pit road. Paulo Inesito, Kevin Hayes, Gil Guac, Bob Baker, and Warren Moore all out early. Nine laps to go for Richie Joplin. Tim St. Jean on his way back out. Jeff Oakes still within striking distance. Mark that caution. Caution is out late. Well, that'll shake things up just a bit. That will put everybody back together on track. See if we can see what happened to bring this one out. Three-car battle. Michael Whiting at the front of that on the bottom. Oh, he just gets a tap. It sends him sideways. Everybody has to check up. Schilling sneaks by. Wow, that could have been a lot worse. And it does look like the caution was thrown at the right time. Stephen Lindner will maintain 9th. Derek Schilling now to 10th. Dean Webb gets waved around. That should put him back on the lead lap. That could spell trouble for everybody else. Folks, don't forget to tune back in just a few moments after we finish the race. The unicorn will be a truckin'. And you're definitely going to get a laugh from it. In fact, I will go so far as to say if you can watch the entire convoy and not laugh, I would be willing to give you a 10% off coupon for the HTSAI merch store. I'm that confident you'll get a chuckle. So make sure you come back and tune in for that. So Richie Joplin, Jeff Oakes have the front row. Ryan Warp, Mark Dantuma on the second row. Kevin Bruner, Robbie McCracken on the third row. John Talley, Ryan Douglas on the fourth row. Derek Schilling, Stephen Lindner round out the top 10. And we're going to have a 5-lap shootout. Dean Webb is back on the lead lap, but is back in 15th. Things are about to get interesting. Here we go. Pace car dives in. Into the restart zone. The green flag flies. 5 laps to go at Charlotte. Oh, already a wreck in turn 1. The caution is back out. Looks like Ron Holyfield involved this time. Let's take a look. Let's back this up just a hair. There's Ron on the inside in the Texaco car. There was a problem up ahead. Schilling got checked up. Ron tried to come up across the nose of another car. Take a look at this from the blimp. Look just ahead on that outside line. Looks like one of the cars got into the wall, checked up. Schilling had to check up. Everybody changing lanes. Holyfield thought he was clear. Ouch. Richie Joplin, Mark Dantuma will have the front row. All right, Nosity, see you, buddy. Jeff Oakes, Robbie McCracken on the second row. Ryan Warp, Kevin Bruner on the third row. Ryan Douglas, Steve Lindner on the 4th row, John Talley and Jim Mott rounding out the top 10, and quite a comeback for Jim Mott, who was caught up in one of those earlier incidents. He's worked on that car all night long and fought his way back to the top 10. Derek Schilling in 11th, Michael Whiting in 12th, Gerald Poole, Dean Webb, and Ron Holyfield all on pit road for repairs. Mike Burgess, Tim St. Jean catching back up, still not on the lead lap. Iceman also not on the lead lap, back in 18th. As Barney the Flagman gives them one to go. And we will have a green-white checkered finish here at Charlotte. 2 laps to settle this one. Folks, don't forget, the Unicorn and I will both be streaming some this weekend. Make sure you stop in and say hello. Sunday morning, we will have some racing. GT3 NSS is back on track. And here they come through 3 and 4. The pace car dives in for the last time. Here we go toward the restart zone. There, and the green flag flies. Richie is away quickly. Jeff Oakes, Mark Dantuma battling for second. Robbie McCracken in fourth. Kevin Bruner fights back on the high side for fifth. Jeff Oakes now in second place, is right on the bumper of Richie as they come out of turn 4. And here we go. The white flag flies one more time around Charlotte. It's going to be a 3-car shootout for this final lap. Oakes looks for the shot. He goes low. Pushes up into Richie. They both go up the track. Dantuma comes to the bottom. It's gonna be a photo finish. Oakes through the grass. Richie Joplin pulls off the win. Mark Dantuma comes home in second. Robbie McCracken finishes third. Let's take one more look at this last lap battle. Jeff shoots to the bottom. Richie tries to shut the door. Jeff goes in. They both go up the track. Dantuma sees the opening, cuts through. Jeff gets sideways through the grass, and at the line, it is a very close finish. 2/100ths of a second separated them. And let's see if we can talk to our top 3. We'll start with second place, Mark Dantuma. Mark, congratulations. That was a heck of a wild last lap.
Yeah, that door just kind of opened for me, and I just stuck it in there. So it was great running with Richie and Jeff there.
It definitely, you definitely did get that door at the last minute. It's kind of hard to pass up, but man, things got a little bumpy once you guys got 3 wide out of turn 4.
Yeah, both of them drove it in real deep into 3, so I figured that was my opportunity, and they kind of slid up a little bit, and I just shoved it in the opening.
Well, it definitely worked to come home on the podium, and a very close finish between Richie and you. 2/100ths of a second is what we have.
Well, it was awesome. Just I was hoping I was a little bit ahead, but I was a little bit behind.
Oh, still a great job and a great finish, buddy. Congrats.
Thanks, Doug.
Does not look like Robbie McCracken is available, but our winner, Richie Joplin, is. Richie, I have to say, I thought your chances were gone going off into turn 3 when you and Jeff went up the track.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a barely of a touch. I mean, it wasn't nothing major. I'm just lucky that I held him off and held off Mark. That was a heck of a finish. And I got a win from my new sponsor out there, Ally Real Wheel Repair. You need to check it out in Greenville, South Carolina. And thanks for Gerald for putting on the paint. I thought my race was done at the beginning where I didn't really pit at the first caution. I was thinking, well, I just messed everything up. I just luckily got a win tonight. I mean, everybody else is right there with me.
Well, man, a great job, a great finish, a heck of a last lap battle, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Richie Joplin pulls off the win, but folks, don't forget, come back in about 5 minutes or so. Come say hi to the Unicorn. And definitely tune in for the convoy here in just a few moments. If you're on the game, you're welcome to come and join. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Hope you all had as much fun as we did. We will see you in a bit. Have a great one.